men. And I use the term loosely. Way more loosely than I've ever used it before, because guess what? One of us today is a girl. Say hello.
Hi.
That's my niece, Morgan. She's come here to help me out today, been visiting for a couple of days, and I know what you guys are thinking. You guys are thinking, that old bastard swears like a sailor. There's no way he should be around a young woman. In fact, Morgan's my brother's daughter. He was in the Navy. He learned all the swear words. He taught them to her. She taught them to me. So there ain't nothing she hasn't heard before. But anyway, today we're going to do a down and dirty test on a Harley generator. And just a couple of notes on the setup. I got a Harley 12-volt generator clamped into a vise on the bed of my lathe. It is being driven off of the idler gear. I do it this way for the same reason I do the magneto this way. If I wanted to drive the generator directly off the chuck, the generator would have to be perfectly in line with the chuck. If I drive it off the gear, I could have a considerable amount of misalignment, and everything will still work fine. It could be, misaligned this way a little bit. It could be misaligned this way a little bit, and it won't matter. So it'll work just fine. And just let's go over a little bit of the mathematics of it. So before we get started, take a look at this. Once again, there's mathematics involved, and I know y'all hate math, but just FYI, camshafts in an engine, and you all should know this, run at half of the engine speed. So if an engine is running at 2,000 RPM, the cams are spinning at 1,000 RPM. If an engine's running at 3,000 RPM, the cams are spinning at 1,500 RPM. The number 4 cam on a Harley that drives the idler gear, that drives the generator gear, has 36 teeth. The idler has 46 and the generator has 14. So the idler gear spins 0.782 revolutions for every revolution of the number 4 cam gear. The generator drive gear, because it's smaller than the idler gear, spins 3.28 revolutions for every revolution of the idler gear. When you're running an engine at 2,000 RPM, the number 4 cam is spinning at 1,000 RPM, which means the idler is spinning at 782 RPM, which means the generator is spinning at a rather blistering 2,564 RPM. At highway speed, 60 miles an hour, your bike is probably doing 3,000 RPM, so the cams are doing 1,500 RPM, so the idler gear is doing 1,173 RPM, and the generator is spinning at a rather blistering 3,847 RPM. I have digital readout RPM on my lathe, which you can't see, it won't fit in the frame. So I will be controlling the speed to match the speed of the idler gear so we can see what the output of the generator is. Morgan, remember the lessons from yesterday about safety and the buffing wheel?
Yes.
Safety is what?
Third. Very
good. Safety is at least third around the shop. So we're going to keep all of our fingers and bits and pieces out of the gears because they will chew you up in a heartbeat. So of course this is probably more dangerous than a 10 young girl should be exposed to, but we're going to give it a try anyway. All right, so we're going to fire the lathe up and dial in some RPM. Okay, that's about 737 RPM, which is equivalent to about idling speed on your Harley. Hey, Morgan, touch that red lead on the A terminal and see what we got. Well, we've got a rather random 2.2 volts, which is essentially meaningless. The generator's not putting out anything. So part 1 of the experiment, we're going to ground out the field winding. Stand by. Alright, I moved I turned the speed down a little bit just so you can hear us easier because it's kind of noisy. Right now the field winding is grounded out to the frame. All the regulator does is control the flow of current from the field to ground. So the field's grounded out right now. Go ahead and touch your voltmeter on the A terminal. Look at that, 15, 16 volts. So that's unregulated output coming from the generator. Okay, back that off. So part 2 of the down and dirty test is we'll hook a light bulb up to it. There you go. This is a generator hooked up with no regulator. It works. If you got a bike and you want to test it while an engine is running, this is all you got to do. Ground the field out and put a light bulb or something on the armature. Be extremely careful because if you blip the throttle at all, you will blow the light bulb up. You will burn it out. So do not rev the bike while you're doing this. Alright, we now have the regulator hooked up in the circuit. So we're going to hook the voltmeter to the output of the regulator and see what we got. Go ahead. Don't be scared there. It won't bite. Alright, there we go. We got 14.5, which is actually pretty good. We're going to play with the speed a little bit and see how well the regulator regulates. It's regulated pretty good, about 14.5. That's not bad. Now, just for shits and giggles, we're going to do this. While she's reading volts, let's see, we're going to try to get the light bulb hooked up. Touch that end of that to one of those titties on there. She knows what titties are. Well, and the wire, this whole thing. There you go. And with a little bit of load on it, you can see it drops down to 7.8. So let's jack the RPM up a little bit and see if it compensates. And yes, it does. So this generator and this regulator both work. I'm going to bolt it on this motorcycle. Everything should be just fine. That's it for now. And this is a quickie video. I am out of here. See you later. That's it.
That was cool.
Yeah. A little dangerous.
I hope my hands didn't shake too much.
If this thing got cattywampus in there, like the time it moved,
yeah.
Had this fallen out, spinning at that RPM, it probably could have hurt us.
Yeah.
As you can imagine.
Yeah. Well, if you'll notice, my hand was not shaking in the first take.
This is going to be the best part.
I trust this a negative amount.
Okay, we got to be... Where do we got to? We got to be right here, pretty much. You trust this a negative amount. Okay, men. I got record going. Okay, men. We're teaching Denise about electricity. We're measuring some ohmages. And as you can see, we have the meter set on ohms. We got 2 leads not touching each other. Open circuit, OL on the meter. Clip them together. And of course we have some minimal amount of resistance in the circuit, or 0.1 or whatever, 0 whatever. So now we're going to measure the resistance of organ. Touch them. Touch the metal parts. Put one finger, pinch one in each hand. Go ahead. She's scared.
I'm very afraid of this.
Would I put this on YouTube if it was going to hurt you?
Yes.
Would I put torturing a girl on YouTube if it was going to hurt the girl? Touch them.
I'm fairly certain that, like, one at a time?
But at the same time.
Oh, okay. Oh, I don't trust this.
Grab them.
Oh,
grab
God.
them. Just grab them.
Okay.
Just grab them. What happened?
Nothing.
That's right.
Oh, good.
The resistance of Morgan is 460,000 ohms plus or minus a little bit. Ain't that? And you didn't get hurt, did you?
Nope.
Perfectly fine. You're good to go, right?
Yep.
All right. Let's see if she's got any volts. Let's see if you got any volts.
I'm okay.
Some random interference there on the old fluke meter there. So she's got resistance, but she's got no volts. She's good to go. We're out of here.